probably one of the few times you're going to hear me rant in a negative tone. I don't believe in ranting. I don't really like it, but this has been a very frustrating experience for me. So we'll just go with the whole from the beginning here. As you know, I purchased my car from a local dealership here in Nashville that specializes in selling Corvettes. You can figure it out on your own, the name of the place. And before I get into this rant and start saying a bunch of negative things when I use the term dealer and manager, I just want to be clear that I am not ranting about the sales process, the finance, or anything about the actual physical dealership. This is the body shop people that are attached to this dealership, right, that I'm targeting my rant on. That it is truly, the poor experience comes from them, not salespeople, because when I went through the sales process and purchasing of my Corvette, Jesse was awesome. Hands down, was probably one of the best salespeople I worked with. No wonder that kid is young and fiery, knows how to get a sale, no pressure. No one in there seemed very pressure. Everybody seemed really low key. It was all about service, quality, and they live up to their standards. It was a very good, pleasant experience. I mean, I ordered my car, took delivery of my car. They walked me around my car. My car was immaculate when I got it. Beautiful car. You know, every experience was pleasurable. Even when I hit the 500-mile mark for braking on my car, dropped it off. Before I could even get to the restaurant to have lunch with my girlfriend, they were already done with the check, right? And they told me it was going to be a few hours, and they got it done literally in 25, 30 minutes, I think, maybe an hour, right? But it was very, very pleasant, no pressure, no problems, no issues. And at the time of purchase of my car, I kind of debated if I wanted to do the whole X-Bell cover, that armor clear coat stuff, or if I was going to wrap the car. And I talked with some friends who have cars that are wrapped. Obviously, you know me, I go to car shows and do these things. So I went and asked some friends who wrap their cars, and one of my friends who just took the wrap off of his wonderful BMW was like, hey, you should do this. And basically what he was saying was having the car ceramic coated, essentially Pro Ceramic 9H. And he had a guy that did it that comes up from Rhode Island, and he already had an appointment lined up to have that gentleman come up and do another one of his cars. And I was totally cool. Called the guy up, and he was like, yeah, I'm already going to be up there on Saturday. I can do the invoice on your car, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it then, but we can set up an appointment for a later date, and we'll go from there. So guy shows up on Saturday. He walks over the car. He's like, it's a great car. You know, everything's great. And then here comes the but, right? And he goes, but you have 2 paint defects on your car, and they're paint defects. And I'll show you the photos of those. You'll probably see while I'm talking here. And they're nothing. It's, you know, factory stuff. Corvette had a problem apparently with the way they were doing their paint process, that they've actually scrubbed that whole process and redid it. I work in manufacturing. I understand it, you know. So I called the dealership. They were like, yeah, we can get it in. We'll take a look at it, and we'll tell you what we're going to do from there. So I bring it in. They tell me to go around to the back to the body shop, take it over there. The guy walks around the car. I explain the 2 spots to him, you know. He goes, yeah, we'll get it fixed for you. If you can, you know, just bring it by on this date. I was like, all right, cool. Bring it by, drop it off. The guy, you know, do the paperwork. Guy walks around the car again, make sure there's nothing wrong, no other damages. He's like, yep, here, and here, we'll fix that, right? So it takes him about, I think, 3 or 4 days. I think I dropped it off on a Monday, might have picked it up Wednesday night. Well, I didn't pick it up because, as you'll see in this video, this spot here, when I go to pick up the car, one side was the side they fixed, but I noticed on the other side that it looked like they had squished my bumper in and smashed it in up against the fender on the left side or driver's side of the vehicle. And, you know, I didn't take delivery of the car, went back into the service room. They were very polite about it. You know, at first whack, he comes out and he looks at me like, yeah, they got a paint process problem. I'm like, that didn't look like a paint process. It looked like you didn't put the front clip in, right? And he's like, well, we don't really pull it off. And I was like, that doesn't explain how this much damage occurred, but whatever, right? He says he's going to fix it, right? So literally over a week goes by. I return back to the dealership today, and as you can see, the car is worse now than when I dropped it off to him the first time and the second time after I mentioned that they munged up the work, right? This guy is telling me like, oh, I need to calm down, whatever. It's like, of course I'm upset. I'm still upset because you messed up my car worse than I brought it to you. And you're supposed to be a certified body repair shop that is attached to this dealership? This is a joke. I could have taken this to a grade school kid and he wouldn't have messed it up this bad. You know, and then he tells me, oh, it'll buff out. We're going to buff it out. You scratched up my headlight. Oh, and by the way, now the headlight and the bumper looks like it's pushed in or the headlight's been messed up. It's not flush anymore. And he says, oh, it's not flush. None of them are ever flush. I have 100 cars that are in here that none of them are flush. So, you know what? I should have challenged him there, but luckily I have a friend that has a Corvette Stingray. So I walked over to her and I said, hey, do you mind if I take a look? And as you see in the video, her headlights are completely flush, right? And if you look at the video that I have of me filming the Sunday before I brought the car to them, right, you'll notice up close here right now that they're both flush. They're not protruding out. There's no lip, no edge, no way to grab onto it, right? And now let's go back to the other video here real quick, and you'll see here that it's not flush anymore. And what I think they did was they just applied too much pressure when they went to buff it out or clean out the parts that they painted, right? But yeah, you'll see here they scratched the car all over the front, right? And now they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to take a circular buffer or whatever, so you're going to strip a layer of paint off of my car, right, to fix the damages you caused, essentially. This is a joke, right? And if you disagree with me, leave a comment below. You agree with me, leave a comment below. But yeah, you'll see the clown, you'll see the area, and if you live in Nashua, you already know the dealership. I'm just not going to say it because, like I said before, the dealership itself, the salespeople, every other experience I've had with this, and friends of mine I've referred to buy cars there. I referred a buddy of mine, and he went and bought their Callaway, right? I was referred to him by another friend of mine who had a Corvette from them, right? So I went there. And guess what? Sales service, immaculate, very attentive, attention to detail was good, respectable, no pressure, got back to me in a timely manner, processed my order quickly, got me my Corvette delivered, A+ service there. But the problem, and just to be clear, my problem is with the body shop and the people there. This is a prime example of people rushing a job and not doing something right the first time, right? It's poor workmanship. If I could give you anything less than a grade of an F on this, I would, you know, or no grade at all, because it is straight up garbage.